So, what is the worst advice ever in the history of the world? Basically, there's two parts, and they're both so intertwined. I think of them as really one piece of advice that it's just meshed together. But the first thing is just be yourself. I'm sure you've heard it a bazillion times in many different ways. We've heard it since the ugly duckling story we heard in nursery school. Doesn't go away. That whole bit of advice gets told to us all the time. Unfortunately, some people seem to misinterpret that as free license to be a jerk or a slacker or both. What that advice really means is be your best self. And so certainly you can misinterpret that, but it's a little more complicated than that. It's not just that it's misinterpreted. It's not quite as easy as you might think. It's just that just be yourself theme is one of the most common themes in music, art, books, movies. If that wasn't kind of a universal struggle for most people, it wouldn't be that common of a theme in movies and books. And I'm sure you can think of hundreds right off the top of your head that have that theme. So we'll get to why in just a little bit, but let's go to part two in this. So the other one is believe in yourself. Wow, I never would have thought of that. It's all solved. Everything's great. Well, it's not quite that easy. If there's something in your life that you're apprehensive about, having somebody tell you just believe in yourself is really not going to be very helpful. And that's really the big problem with both of those pieces of advice are the how-to is left off. So it should be easy, really. I mean, how hard should it be to just be yourself? How hard should it really be for a rational, intelligent person to believe in themselves? Unfortunately, it's not quite as easy as it should be. And so let's talk about that let's talk about the why that's true for just a little bit. The reason is as we're growing up, we're bombarded with concepts and ideas that we're not really prepared to examine rationally. We're just soaking these things in like a sponge, and we haven't got the life experience. Not just the life experience, we haven't got the ability to think in abstract concepts yet. So we just make the best guesses we can as we're growing up, and unfortunately those best guesses as little kids get internalized as our values and beliefs. So the bottom line is that we internalize these things before we're even able to understand the concepts, and we live our lives based on these unconscious assumptions, and we don't really even notice them or even realize what we're doing. So the thing to remember is and realize is that this never stops. We are constantly bombarded. We're bombarded by our peers, by our relatives, by well-meaning strangers, the media, everything. We're constantly getting bombarded with who we should be and what roles we should have and how we should live our lives. And the problem is it's usually subtle. I remember a talk I had with my dad, a talk I had with my father. I was 15 years old, and we were having a discussion, and my dad said, "Well, you don't believe that. You don't think that." And I was like, "Whoa, I kind of do." And my dad meant nothing but the best for me. He was a good man, and he wanted me to be happy and successful. But the subtext of that is there's something wrong with you because you think that. And that was really, that kind of shaming behavior is what they call it. It's so common, and it doesn't stop. It doesn't just stop when you're a little kid. And even at 15, I knew that my dad was not in control of what I thought, but the subtext did get through, and of course I'm not conscious of it at 15, but those things they're damaging and they do hurt us. And it's important to remember that what our subconscious is really trying to do is to protect us. So as it's trying to live these roles and these things that it's taken in as children, it's trying to protect us and keep us safe. So that's why we have that universal fear. Everybody has this fear of the new, doing something new. We always have a little bit of apprehension. Even if we decide to take that action, there's a little bit of fear because we don't know the result. And our subconscious is trying to keep us safe, and it puts out that fear to kind of make us assess things and to think about them and decide at that point whether to do them or not. But the important thing to realize is that it doesn't just do that with actions, it also does that with thoughts. Subconscious is going to protect us by not even letting us see what we're doing. So unless we really decide to examine what we're doing and see if it's really right for us, we just end up unconsciously following these roles and behavior patterns that may not really be good for us. And that's true, I think, for really everybody. And we're all we're all in the same boat.